To know more on HIV or AIDS, call toll-free number 1097. Know your status. Be educated about AIDS. Issued in public interest by the Meghalaya AIDS Control Society.
Unang ilam kaliang persya hakajala Dr. Mukul sangma. Ulat herting ya ka sorkar kabla penjenjari ki pait ba kajala. Daga ba penjeri ya ka load shedding. Hakaba uloong ba kan long daga ba Bret no yo menteri rangba ba ju menteri katanat boarding konrad ke sangma ba James P ke sangma daga Jaka ba ki Shong minta. Ulong ba ulakren haka bede barkani ka kam boarding power sector haka jala na du kisnem arajar nriu arajar nyo daga ba ula benra pru baki pait ba ki de ban snotho ya ka jing don kam jong kani ka kam boarding namar lada ki jing don jing em jong ka MECL ki sha penjot no na ka daw jong ka jing bam chim khya pa ka jing khwan men toy ka jala kanya kandu jing e ha ka lawai Dr. Mukul shushu long baka ka badon kam nakam ta ban penbait ka long daga ba Bret no yo menteri rangba ba ju menteri boarding naga Jaka ka baki Shong bat like nakata don chu da ki wei pat kilat kelenti ya ka jela naga ni kijing e namar ki don daga wei kijing tumu bat ka jingpa ka jongki ka kham kraw kim don ka mon ban weng ya ka ni kijing e bat ki demaki ki bo wanra ya ka ni kijing e minta Ulong ba khala la supin kriya kami ki officer ba don ru ki ba ban resign no ka ba pni ya ka dak jong jingle don bor namar mano ba don bor ban wengi ki officer na ka board of directors limda day da umentri rangba Ulong ba hakapor ka ba khamunchwa ula shimti ya ka tanat boarding ha ka jela ba lingba ka electricity act arajar lai anla ban wanra igr kom trekam jong ki tanat namar kani ka ak kala batay lot kumno ban pinke em ban kintiu biang ya ka kam boarding ha ka ba ulai thu ba ula wanra ya ka power policy ban num chanya ne kut tang ha ka ban chuthi ne ki wei ulong pa ka jela Meghalaya ki wa ki don udoyong udon ban pinmi ya ka boarding da ka MECL
I have spoken about power sector for a long time since 2006-2007 people have to understand how important this power sector is. It's a fear. If these particular entities under MECL is crippled due to mismanagement, due to incompetence and due to greed, I repeat, due to mismanagement, due to incompetence and due to greed of few, the state is going to have a disastrous future. I have seen people writing to the letter to the editors. I have seen lots of narrative being circulated in social media. These are not just general narrative or conversation just to point a finger at anybody just for the sake of playing politics. But these are reflection of the concern about the gravity of the situation. That is what the state is in. And unless it is corrected, I am saying that the state will have disastrous future. And what is the correction? The only correction is to throw out the chief minister and to throw out to throw out the power minister. Nothing else. There will be no solution. They will not solve it because their intentions are different. Their priorities are different. So the priority is very important. I have said it in the house. Their priorities are different. They are not interested to solve this mess, and they are actually being responsible for creating the mess. You just look at recently how many officers were shifted again overnight. Somebody was asked to resign. What are those indicators? These are tip of iceberg. Who can remove an officer other than chief minister from the board of directors? People have to read between the lines. The gravity of the situation is so much that I am telling you my state is going to have a disastrous future. And I'm concerned. I want everyone to be concerned. And these can be solved only when you throw out the chief minister and throw the minister concerned from the Gadi. Now if you want to go to that storytelling in respect of power sector by Dr. Mukul Sangma has been there for hours and hours together in the assembly. Whole proceeding will give you the inputs. Now look at it. I had to request our then Honorable Chief Minister, my senior colleague, Dr. Lapam, requested him, sir, I'm interested to probably take charge of this department because you had an Electricity Act 2003. And then that act provides you the whole, it's like a script, well documented script to restructure, revamp, and revive power sector. And all the subsequent power policies are based on that mandate of that Electricity Act 2003. And I came up with a power policy. Now, you have to look at how to ensure that you don't end up buying costly thing. If you have a land, you have plenty of land to cultivate your vegetables, your chili, and you'll end up buying and spend your precious resources, limited resources. Now you have rivers, you have coal, which is being done unscientifically. Result is that you have intervention from honorable NGT. So what was the policy? The policy was to harness these resources in order to make the generation company of the MEECL robust and financially viable. Okay. And look at this whole process. You look at the policy, how much percent of the power generated was coming to the government. Free power, including the whole proceeds of the generation to the local affected people, meaning the project affected people. We refer to the local population as the project affected people. This would have been source of continuous, sustainable source of income for the generation company. Now then you have the transmission company. Where does the transmission company get money from? By transmitting the power generated and giving it to the distribution company. It is never going to be a losing company. Then your distribution company. Now your distribution company is compelled to buy power at a higher cost because you don't have your own generation. And you'll end up actually being subjected to regulation when you can't pay. If I'm buying credit from you and then not paying, what are you going to do? You will also sink along with me because you have your overhead. So therefore, this regulation is part of the mandate of the law. Every power purchasing company are subjected to this regulation if they don't pay. This is what happens if the shopkeepers, you go on buying on credit and don't pay. One day the credit wala will say, please, I will not be able to give you on credit. So please understand the magnitude of problem and the complexities associated with this. Now what happens with the generation? What happens with the transmission? What happens with the distribution?